Spirit 105.3. Hi, this is Erica.
Hey, Erica, this is Mark.
Mark, it is so fun to hear from you. How you doing today?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Well, I have to tell you, one of the best things I've seen lately was you on Instagram. Just seeing your grandson, I think it was backstage, just you picking him up, scooping him up. What does it mean to be a grandpa?
You know, it's so funny because before Lincoln, you would always hear grandparents say, well, there's nothing like it. I'm just telling you, there's nothing like it. And I just thought, I don't know. I kind of really loved being a dad. We had a blast. But you know what? There's nothing like it.
It's leveling up, isn't it?
It is. And especially when he gets older, I don't ever have to say no again. Just going to give him whatever he wants. Just kind of shake him up like a Coke and just send him home.
Oh, well, we're on the phone, so you can't show me your latest photo of him. But what do you love about Link, Mark?
I guess what's really got me right now is that his hair is getting so curly like John Michael's. Because John Michael had all the curls growing up. And, JM's my bass player now in Crowns.
Wow.
So they're on the road with us. So I get to be on the road with him every weekend and just watching him. He's just started walking. He's all over the place. I don't think his mom and dad were ready for that because they were used to him being kind of stationary. And now they just look up. They're like, "Where'd he go? What just happened?"
Oh, and how old is he exactly?
He just turned 1.
Oh, Christmas is going to be so special. I can just see him looking up at those twinkling lights.
Oh, he's going to love it. And believe me, there'll be entire phone memories taken up with the videos. We'll have to have separate phones for the videos, I'm sure.
Oh, well, while we're focused on the holidays here for a second, Mark, what are you most grateful for here in 2023 as you look back over another year?
I am the most grateful that I have my whole family in town with me. I've been separated by many miles and hours from my parents for a long time, and now my mom and dad live right in the town that I do. My sister lives in the town that I live in. My son and his new family are 4 minutes down the road.
Oh.
And my daughter, Zoe, is getting married in January.
Wow.
And they're going to live about 20 minutes down the road. So I got all my people. That's what it's all about.
Think of the Sunday dinners you all are going to have.
Oh, you know it. And I'm pretty easy to please on food, though. I kind of eat like I'm 12. So you give me some macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, and some meat, I'm good.
I am so with you. There is something about carbs that's just like, thank you, Lord. They just hit right.
Yeah. And every time anybody gives me trouble, I just tell them, look, my resurrection body is going to be amazing. So I'm just getting to that.
Okay, let's talk Thanksgiving for just a hot second. What do you guys do to your turkey? Do you fry it? Do you roast it the traditional way?
Being that I don't do any of the work, I don't put up a lot of fuss, but I really loved that deep fried phase that everybody went through for a few years.
Yeah.
Those are so good. I don't know why we don't do it anymore, but for me, turkey is the best at night. Like after lunch, it's in the fridge.
Yeah.
That turkey sandwich, that's gold right there.
Yeah, I get the whole turkey thing, but for me, it's the pie. I got to tell you, the pie is the star. Do you like pumpkin or apple?
Going back to being 12, I like apple pie, but I pick out the apples, and I just like the goo and the crust.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm not
word.
a good example.
I'm laughing because I do the same thing. I love like the drenched crust from the apple cinnamon sauce, but not the apples.
I have texture issues.
You are
The
so
way
awesome.
things feel in my mouth is just not right. Like an orange is like eating string.
Yep.
A peach has hair on it, for crying out loud. Like, think about it, people. So
You're fantastic. Well, listen, and how cool is it to have a movie made about you and your mission in life? I mean, I know you're a humble guy. This is all about Jesus. But what does it mean to you, Mark?
I'll tell you what, they had to talk me into it for a while because I was just like, man, I don't have any car chases, shootouts, or anything in my story. I don't know what anybody. There's no superpowers, which is in all the movies now, and. They said, well, what if we just tell the story of how the band came together and how that worked? And I said, well, I also would like to take a trip through the songs. And these are the songs that changed people. So we went out and found people that God really used certain songs to speak to them. Those stories just, it made it for me.
That's really special. I can't wait to see this movie. I mean, you made a commitment a long time ago that you would be home by Sunday. Why? Because at any point, anybody would have understood and said, oh, he's got a different calling now, Mark. Why did you stand by that?
Well, that's just what I do. I'm a youth pastor. I don't think we would have Casting Crown songs if I wasn't pouring into the students every week. That's where it all comes from. So it's not like a big noble move. It's just I know this is what it's supposed to be. and it's not always easy. There's not a lot of rest. But I'm doing the whole thing with my family. They're all on the road with me, and we've done it that way since the start. So, and plus, I think it's drawn a good picture for the kids that I've ministered to over the years of what's important. You know, we're all going to get jobs. You're going to get on sports teams and have all these things pulling at you, but something has to be the main thing. And your walk with Jesus in the church needs to be that.
Something happened to you on the road recently, and I was so inspired by what you shared on Instagram. Would you tell that story about what happened to your truck?
Yeah, I was at the hotel after the concert, and Diane Sheets, my vocal coach, texted me this picture of police lights everywhere on the highway or something. I'm like, why is she sending me this? There's a bunch of words around it, but I'm not a reader, you know? So I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I said, what is this? She goes, that's your truck.
Oh.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I look at it. Our truck driver was pulling in to start loading back up after the concert. And while they were doing that, this lady saw him get out, and she just got in and pulled out. It wasn't something that was this big plan. It was just somebody in a tight spot living in the wrong space in their head, and they just saw an opportunity, and they jumped on it. And so, you know, you can't excuse, you know, sin and crime and all that, but she's still a person. She's still a soul. So, I just felt for her the moment I saw her face and just started praying for her.
Yeah, I was so touched when I read that on Instagram that you did that, putting, you know, yourself aside for a second and just recognizing, like C.S. Lewis says, we are a soul, we have a body. There's somebody in there that's just crying out for love. And I just appreciated your take on that.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll always hope somebody would see me that way.
Yes, indeed. Well, Mark, it is such a scary world right now. There is so much going on in Israel and the Middle East, enough to break a heart. How are you leaning into your faith? Because I'll tell you, these news stories, these pictures, they are so hard on the heart.
Yeah, they really are. You know, we have friends over there doing missions over there on both sides. You know, there are people hurting on both sides, and it breaks my heart for all of it. I have a heart for Israel like every believer does. What happened to them it's hard to even put together in your head how anybody could do that. So I pray for their safety. I pray for peace on both sides, because there are people on the other side that don't want any of that to happen either.
Exactly.
You know? And they just get caught in the middle. It's hard to know what to pray sometimes. But I think if you just pray, Lord, let the truth come out, stop what's wrong that's happening, and keep people safe. When I pray for situations like this, I'm like, Lord, you know what's wrong, and I pray that you stop the people that are doing what's wrong.
As a youth pastor, how are you handling it with the kids?
I think the kids that are the deep thinkers are trying to figure out, what should I pray? So I just want our students to see we have to pray for God to do what he knows needs to be done. We need to pray for safety for people. We need to pray that terrorism stops.
Absolutely, 100%. I just believe Jesus is coming back soon, Mark.
Whew. It does appear that things are wrapping up.
It could be today, brother.
And I never say that to the kids, because the teenagers are like, wait,
I know.
Wait, not yet. There's things out there, you know. So, but at the same time, things are seeming to come together right now with all the countries that are kind of getting involved in this and what we see in Scripture. And if Jesus comes, I'm ready.
Oh, man, me too. It's going to be a good day. Mark Hall from Casting Crowns, it's always such a blessing to be able to connect with you. Thank you for hanging out with us on Spirit 105.3.
Thanks for having me.